China yet again shamed as 25 cities produce 52% of the world's greenhouse gas, and China has been exposed. And yet the rest of the world is paying for it. What is China doing about this? We don't think they're doing much, but let's take a look at null school as well, which is real-time effects. Take a look at null school, and this shows us the particulates in this, chemicals in this map. Let's look at the air. Okay. The chemicals. That's China right there, as we can see. India, China, Russia. Russia up here. All right, let's go to the particulates. That's China again right there. This is Russia, this is China. Chemicals. Okay, just so you can get an idea of what's going on. There we go. Okay. Sorry. That's CO2 emissions. Let's go to monoxide. Again, that's China right there. Okay. Nitrogen oxide. Let's keep it here, just so you can get an idea of what's going on with China. That's the amount of pollution that we have given off by China. So we saw the null school, and I'll leave a link below for you for that. China shamed as its 25 cities producing 52% of the world's greenhouse gas exposed. They've been shamed for after a study showing 25 megacities in China are responsible for producing 52% of all urban greenhouse gas emissions globally. The question is, what are they going to do to reduce all this? The results published in the journal Frontiers in Sustainable Cities, it's in its first global balance sheet of greenhouse gases, GHGs, emitted by major cities around the world. Researchers achieved this by taking sector-level GHG emission inventories from 167 cities. They include metropolitan cities like Durban, South Africa, to cities such as Milan in Italy. Cities are from 53 countries in North and South America, Europe, Asia, Africa, and Oceania, and were chosen based on representatives in urban sizes and regional distribution, and only 2 cities outside of China are in the top 25. That's Tokyo and Moscow. The results do not bode well for Beijing, particularly after the Paris Agreement of 2015, where an agreement was made between over 170 countries to keep global warming to levels well below 2 degrees Celsius. This is also not helping by the fact that UN IPCC report issued a code red for humanity, with climate chiefs demanding action to be taken to avoid disaster. Kindly support my Patreon account, since YouTube has again demonetized my YouTube channel. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support, and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below. So as we can see, as things stand today, China is responsible for over half of the world's greenhouse gases being emitted. The UNEP emission gap report of 2020 also shows that we are still heading for a temperature increase of more than 3 degrees Celsius by the end of the 21st century, unless we drastically take action to reduce emissions. Of course, this has to be forced on China. There are now less than 3 months to go before the COP26 in Glasgow, Scotland. It's a key climate summit where many hope new measures will be introduced. Again, the question is, what is China going to do about all this? The study also showed that cities in Europe, Australia, and the US had much higher per capita emissions than cities in developing countries. But it's not all bad news, because among 30 cities, there was a clear emission decrease between 2012 and 2016. The top 4 cities with the largest per capita reduction were Oslo, Houston, Seattle, and Bogota. But the four with the largest increases were Rio de Janeiro, Curitiba, Johannesburg, and Venice. The researchers also identified some of the most important sources of the greenhouse gas emissions. Shaquin Chen, one of the authors of the study, said, breaking down the emissions by sector can inform us what actions should be prioritized to reduce emissions from buildings, transportation, industrial processes, and other sources. The study shows that stationary energy, which includes emissions from fuel combustion and electricity use in residential and institutional buildings, commercial buildings and industrial buildings contribute between 60 and 80% of total emissions in North America and European cities. In 1/3 of the cities, more than 30% of total GHG emissions were from on-road transportation, and less than 50% of total emissions came from railways, waterways, and aviation. And this is on Express UK by Jacob Paul. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support.